Hi, it's Diane, and I have another vintage ephemera junk journal to share with you. I'm going to just go through this quickly because I just filmed it and it took too long, so I'm just going to go through it quickly. If you have any questions about anything, you can leave it in the comment and I'll try to answer. This is an old book that I loved the picture on. I reinforced the edges with some eyelet trim. Has 3 signatures stitched in. And I got this idea from Christy Biggs. I don't like this charm on it because it flops over to the back side of it too much. But I like the idea of the bulldog clip on there, and I just have to find another charm for it and put a little bit of seam binding in there. Thanks for that idea, Christy. I got other ideas in this book from Beth Wallen. I gave her credit in the last Vintage Ephemera Junk Journal book that I made, and I used some of the same ideas here. This is a page from a computation book that someone used in college. So I use that for the end paper, and it stretches over here and then finished off with typing textbook paper. Has 3 signatures, as I said. This is a page from this book, which was extremely brittle, so I Mod Podged it to this piece of paper and had a doily behind it so it would show up against that paper. So I'm just going to go through. I'm not going to talk too much. I will identify a few things, but if you've seen my recent videos, you'll recognize a lot of this vintage ephemera. And this is something new. This is, well, not new, but I don't think I've shown it on video. It's a vintage birthday postcard to Elmer Monroe Jr., or Elwin, from a church. He was in the cradle roll of that church. And I also have, this is his first birthday, and I also have the cards for his second and third birthdays in my collection. And this is from the vintage Clue game that I purchased. This is an old Shakespeare book. Some rub-ons on that tag. Just little tiny bits in there. This is, whoops. This is the piece of tissue paper that was in this book, lining the first page, and it was much more fragile than I expected, and so it's backed with some cardstock and stitched around the edges, and these pieces are stitched on to give it some stability. And this is a muslin, coffee dyed muslin bow. Lori Jagadish sent me these tickets. Thank you, Lori. This will be glued shut. This book has a few more things to complete it, but I did a video, couple of videos yesterday, and I wanted to get this one done too. So there are a few finishing touches I need to do. This is another page from the Brittle book, and it was in the back of the book advertising other books that they've published, and it's Mod Podged to this large tag. S&H green stamps. These are some more things that Lori sent me. The tickets she sent me, and this old photo, and this old label in a foreign language. And I Mod Podged this piece on upside down. Oops. That's one of the other things I have to do to finish, is stamp on that. Lori sent me this ribbon too. A little piece of lace tucked in there. This paper's from the 1930s. Alright, I do have to talk about this piece because I want to know if y'all think I'm crazy. Lori sent me a sheet of these stickers. They're punch out and you have to lick them and stick them, but they just, and there's no stickers here because I used them in other pages of this book, but I didn't want to throw this sheet away because it just reminds me of my childhood. My mom used to have a drawer in her buffet in the dining room that had little books of these stickers that she used in her Sunday school class. And I used to get them out and just look at them because I liked them. So I didn't want to throw this away just because it reminded me of my childhood. So tell me if you think I'm crazy. And if you think I'm crazy, it's okay because I still like it. This is a scrap of a file folder that I stamped on, and this is a French textbook page. This will be glued shut also. Vintage time card, modern time card. This came in my package of S&H green stamps, and I wasn't even aware that it was in there until I was making this book. It's got silver S&H stickers on it, and it's from Howard Johnson's, and it was almost full. This is also from the 1930s. These both came from the same office in Towanda, Pennsylvania. Vintage music paper. I made this label, so that's not vintage, but this is from my grandmother's house, who was 100 when she died. It's from a checkbook. This is vintage game pieces. Vintage Betty Crocker coupon. There's the stickers. I stuck them all there in a clump because there was a pretty good smudge on that paper. This is from an Avon book, an old Avon book about how to take care of your skin. Vintage flash card, and this is one that I made. This is a piece of a celluloid token that Jill sent me, Jill Robertson sent me, and it's from the World War II Office of Price Administration. She sent me a few of those, and I love them. So I used one. Thanks, Jill. She put one on the charm of the book that she sent me. This is from the Clue game. This can be journaled on. Shorthand paper. This is a scrap of the pilot's logbook. Lori sent me these also, this old photo, and this looks like a miniature postcard. And this is a stamp. I got a packet of these envelopes at an antique store last week, and it's a first day bicentennial era stamp from 1974 with this lovely picture, and it's feels embossed here. It's got the postmark from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I just have to glue the envelope shut. And there's a vintage postcard and prayer for children in there. I'm just trying to use some of my vintage ephemera and then save some of it, so pieces that are tucked in are just things I want to save and have a nice place for them, and I can look at them. This is a Betty Crocker box top that came with this little packet of coupons. This is a current, the current company recipe card. It goes in here. I use the H tab for my last name here. A little piece of lace. This is vintage ledger paper with a Tim Holtz rub-on. It's great because those little numbers fit right in those columns perfectly. Little bits of lace on this pocket. And there was a smudge on this side of the paper too, so that's the rest of the stickers. And there it is. So tell me what you think of it, and I'm also working on a larger vintage ephemera journal, and I received a few pieces of vintage ephemera just yesterday from Lee Pogue in the swap that we did, so I will be including them in my larger book. So stay tuned for another video when I get that done. Thank you.